So this pipe has a radius of 2 3/16 inches, and it wants to know the radius in millimeters. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert those inches into an improper fraction. So I'm going to end up with 35/16 inches. And then I could use my 1 inch for 25.4 millimeters conversion factor. So 1 centimeter is 2.54, so 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. Inches cancel out. I multiply that together, so that works out to be, okay, so I get 25.4 times 35 divided by 16. I end up with 55.5625. So I'm just going to round that to 55.56 millimeters. Okay. So it says, what's the cross-sectional area in millimeters squared and inches squared? So if the radius is in millimeters, then I'm going to convert this into the area, which is pi 55.56 squared. Okay, so when I do that, I end up with 55.56 squared times pi, and I get 9,698. So 9,698 point, let's say 70 millimeters squared. Okay, so if I do this radius in inches, so I'm going to use 35/16 inches. So the area in inches is pi r squared. Okay, and I'll work that out. Okay, so it's 35 divided by 16. I'm going to square that and then times that by pi. I get 15.03 inches squared. Okay, so now if I want to figure out how many millimeters squared in 1 inch squared, what I can do is I can just divide those two together. Okay, and that will give me the answer. So if I find for part C, one way to do it is I can just take this many millimeters squared is equivalent to, there's my equivalent, right? These are equivalent proportions, and find a unit rate. So I divide. Okay, so I end up with, what's that? 9698.7 divided by 15.03. I get 645.3 about. So this is 645.3 millimeters squared for 1 inch squared. Okay, so that's one way to do it. We could also think of it this way. This might be a more intuitive way to think of it. I have 1 inch squared, so that's 1 inch, 1 inch, so that's going to be 1 square inch. And on the outside, I'm just going to write the equivalent measurement in millimeters. So when I multiply that together in millimeters, I'm going to get millimeters squared. So I go 25.4 times 25.4. And I get 645.16. Okay, so now this is millimeters squared for 1 inch squared. Okay, and I'll do that inch squared in black because I kind of described that original square with inches. And that's a square inch. The error is going to be in the rounding, but that's essentially how we can do it from two different perspectives. So there's one here. And this is a different way to look at the same problem. We can use this ratio, or we can use the ratio for one, just draw 1 square inch and do it that way.